Damn. Oh, man, I got to be honest about this. The last couple weeks been rough.
COVID whooping my ass.
But look, I'm making a comeback, and that's not an excuse because my pipeline picks totally sucked. Hey, everyone, I'm Old Surf Dad. We're going to get into all of it, and stick around to the end of the video because I have a special announcement about the Portugal event. It's the 2023 Hurley Pro Sunset Beach, and last year... So using the surf forecast, analyzing some surf stats, I'm going to pick my WSL fantasy team. I'd say watch out for Tati's backhand here and for Molly's grit, but I'm really narrowing it down to Gabriella and Betty Lou, who both made the semis in last year's Hurley Pro. So there's a new award for each event winner. Let's see which fantasy team won pipeline. All right, so let's congratulate Shaq Dom for winning the 2023 Billabong Pro Pipeline. I'm currently working on a medal for the winners from each event. These medals are high quality and made by the very prestigious Hollywood Trophy, who've been around since 1934. You're going to dig it. If you want to join our fantasy league, just go to the Old Surf Dad website and you can register at the top of the page. Also, we have a Discord chat where you can talk surf with me directly or some of the legends there like Griffin and Keel Dude and many others. Link is in the description, or go to the website and check out the main menu. So we're looking at another really average surf forecast for the Sunset Beach event with no significant swells predicted. Currently the North Shore is small and breezy, and the start of the waiting period looks kind of the same. The WSL may try to run early rounds the first or second day, but looking ahead, there are a few overhead to double overhead waves possible on Thursday the 16th and Friday the 17th. The only issue being that the northwest winds bringing crossed up textured conditions may continue. It's the same wind we had at Pipeline that was causing all the problems. Sunset is exposed to a lot of swell and unfortunately a lot of wind. I mean, it's known to be lumpy on clean days. Small wave surfers may be an option on your fantasy team, but remember, it's going to be bumpy, so keep that in mind. I'd also have another look at the forecast before finalizing your reselects. I'll have a Sunset Beach surf page update on oldsurfdad.com, so check it out. The Sunset Beach event has a long and storied history, but aside from last year's Hurley Pro event, there's no recent CT stats to work with. The last men's champion, in fact, was Jake Patterson all the way back in 2003. And check this out. This is Carissa when she won Sunset back in 2009. So what I did was I filled in the gaps with some related results like QS stats and the recent Vans Triple Crown. Here's two big takeaways. Jack Robinson and Zeke Lau have virtual dynasties at Sunset over the past few years. You can see their numbers on the website, along with some of the QS women's results. Next, the power rankings, which I rated more heavily on recent results, show last year's winners, Baron Mamiya and Brisa Hennessy, leading with good stats backing them up. To see the rest of the power rankings, and believe me, it's worth it, go to oldsurfdad.com. You'll also want to see my updated fantasy radar, where I select my top pick, my dark horse, my warning surfer, and my just don't in both the men's and women's category. Again, it's all at oldsurfdad.com or in the description below. All right, now time to make fantasy picks. But first, I gotta say, I've watched the WSL's Rising Tide ad during commercial breaks about 500 times. Now, I back women surfers, but look, WSL, if you want to empower women surfing, don't send them out in 1-foot pipeline closeouts. Don't give them scraps anymore. That shit was embarrassing, and y'all should be ashamed. All right, now let's make some Tier A selections for the women's, and I have to start with Lakey is not in that conversation for me. She lost early last year, and I don't think that this wave suits her as well as some of the other choices that we see. If we toggle the switch in the upper right, you can see that Tyler actually has better stats here than Carissa, and her surfing looks solid at pipe. But I like Carissa's experience and the fact that she's won the Vans Triple Crown, including the Sunset ranking, the last 3 years in a row. I'll take her. Moving to Tier B, I'm going to immediately select Barisa Hennessy and make her my power surfer because I just like the way she surfs this wave, especially if it's going to be bumpy. It's really hard to win back-to-back, and poor surf could derail her, but she's my pick pending her bracket matchups and the updated surf forecast. That leaves so many good surfers, all of which could win the event. I'd say watch out for Tati's backhand here and for Molly's grit, but I'm really narrowing it down to Gabriella and Betty Lou, who both made the semis in last year's Hurley Pro. Gabriella made my power rankings in the number 3 spot, but I'm going to select Betty Lou. In Tier C, it's hard to pass on Steph Gilmore in the bargain bin, but wind and chop is not her friend, and the surf forecast looks that way. Zoe McDougal, however, is solid and was 4th in the Vans Triple Crown Sunset ranking, and she was 2nd overall. I think she could easily knock out her high-seeded opponent. I'll take her, and I'll also take Courtney Conlogue. I always regret taking Courtney Conlogue, but she's just built for Sunset, and I have to pick her until I come to my senses and reselects. Now moving on to the men's. I took a lot of chances on my pipeline picks and looked to find some less obvious choices. I didn't take Jack Robinson, nor did I take Joe Achianca. In fact, I threw some shade. It was a risk and I paid heavily. Remember, old Surf Dad is right 50% of the time and wrong 50% of the time. You get to decide which is which. I did make some good calls too, so let's not forget about that. But the bottom line is my fantasy picks at pipe sucked. You probably don't want to copy me exactly. All right, this time, let me try to suck less. All right, in Tier A, I'll take Jack Robinson this time because his record here is outstanding and he knows this wave like it's his West Oz backyard. Plus, he's got some momentum and he looks dangerous right now. Can we talk about Liam O'Brien? Dang, did he surf well at pipe? I won't pick him here because my dark horse, Coyote Belly, and Vans World Cup winner Jordy Smith is in the mix. But I will take John, even though he lost in the first round last year to Jake Marshall. I just can't see that happening again, but I do feel like John gets heavily underscored because he's being compared to himself and not to the other surfers around him. How the hell is that wave in the round of 16 against Miguel Pupo not a 10? How are both those waves not 10s? How does that guy not have 2 overpriced Yeti coolers sitting in his garage right now? It's crazy to me. For Tier B, I'll start with last year's finalist Kanoa Igarashi and Barrett Mamiya. I'll back that up with Style Master Ethan Ewing, and I'll round it out with Gabriel Medina because not a lot of people are going to pick him, and he's dangerous everywhere. In Tier C, Zeke Lau is an easy choice here with his winning record at Sunset, and I'll select Jake Marshall as my other pick until I see the bracket matchups with an eye on Matthew McGilvray as an easy substitute. If you're wondering why I keep bringing up bracket matchups and you don't know what that means, check out my 5-minute video on making bracket picks. You can click on it in the upper right or find the link in the description below. Speaking of brackets, I want to take a moment and congratulate the WSL for updating the brackets quickly at pipe this year. They even paused long enough for us to make our reselects in the women's round. See, I'm not a total hater. That was an improvement we've been asking for, and it is much appreciated. Survival. What the hell just happened? Well, that was quick. First event exit for me and my Kelly Slater pick. How could you do me like that, GOAT? It wasn't just me. It was plenty of you as well. 64% of the entire survival field were called the biggest single elimination ever. It was brutal. Tell me in the comments, who was your survivor pick? Now look, a few of you survived, and the old Surf Dad contest is still on. The last person standing in our old Surf Dad team gets a WSL jersey or a Stab Premium membership, one or the other, your choice. I'm going to create a web page to track this on oldsurfdad.com. And remember, if you survived, you're still vying for the $5,000 and the quiver from Panda Surfboards. So sick. The rest of us can only hope there's a loser's round in the works, and I did get a cryptic email from Taylor that hinted this may be coming. We'll see, and I'll let you know if it happens. Okay, check this out. Portugal is next up, and I'm very excited to announce I'll be making my picks from Super Tubos. So stoked. I've never been to Portugal, and I'm really looking forward to getting a few waves and scouting the CT for all of you. Now, let me know in the comments below if you have any tips on Portugal for me. I'd really appreciate it. As always, I'll have the old Surf Dad website loaded with stats, and look for some live streams from me live from the event. Thanks for everyone for watching, and hey, mix in a like if you got something out of this video. I really appreciate it. Catch you later.